Yo, 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 yo!
Wrestling fans, are you ready? You better get those Magusta pops. It's time for all the Kayfabe.
Oh, me gusta.
Into the danger zone.
Hey, yo! Well, let me tell you something, brother! It's time!
Ladies and gentlemen, it's time! Welcome to World of Kayfabe Podcast, a pro wrestling podcast. I am your host, the venomous one, Nick Venom, along with my two good friends, Staggerly Crocker, well, the professor, Staggerly Crocker, and the man that puts USA make look so good. How about you show up that beautiful brand new belt, Mr. Dan, the Mother Effort Man? With us tonight, we have a very special guest. He's one of my dearest friends in the wrestling world, is part of my favorite faction. That's not the NWO. He is a captain. And I call him the captain because he is a captain in my heart. I give you the man, the myth, the legend. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. David Silver. Welcome to the show, my man.
Thank you, man. I appreciate it, dude. I really appreciate it. I've been wanting to get on for a long time, man. It's like, okay, I got to get this guy's ratings up. No, I'm just joking. I'm just messing with you, but no, appreciate it, man. Thanks you guys for having me. I know it's a lot of work and put a lot of things together. So kudos, brother. I appreciate you having me on.
Hell yeah. That's what we do. You know, I'm trying to get everybody in there. You know, I got a great connections in the local Louisiana wrestling scene. Because, I'm just too effing sweet. Anyway, without further ado, my man, for those of you who don't know who you are, which is, a crying shame at this point, introduce yourself. Tell us the world, the people that are watching around YouTube world. Take it away.
David Silver. I've been doing this since back in 2008. I started 2008. Question for you. I'm gonna put you on the spot right here. Quiz. What did I do first when I got into the business?
He's a referee, huh?
Yeah, man. Look at you, dude. You know your history. Yeah. Yeah. Shoot, man. That's awesome. Yeah, man. I did, and that's what I was looking to do. And I was watching Cody Hawkins on your show the other day, and
Cody.
yeah, and he was talking about Flip, the Wolfman Jackson, and I got started back in 2008. But before Flip, I met a guy by the name of Chris the Rocket Paul.
Oh,
Do y'all know Rocket? Yeah, he retired as well. Love my boy. He lived here where I'm at. He lived where I was at, and actually, he was a police officer. And so the only federation that was closest to us was BCW, Bayou Championship Wrestling, out of New Iberia. Do you remember that? Yeah. And by the guy by the name of Captain, I forgot his name, but they just called him the Captain. No relation. By the way.
Right.
So I get there one day, man. It's like, and he said, man, look, come over here. He said, we go train here. So if you want to be a referee, come with me. So I went and I just kind of sat back, man, introduced myself to the guy that just sat back. And lo and behold, long story short, I did a couple of shows, did Mike's show, Mustang Mike, and then my first one was in Patterson, refereed there. I did a lot of stuff by you Blue. And then Flip, the Wolfman Jackson said, hey, man, look, I'm opening a wrestling school. He said, I really think you like it. Why don't you come and try it out? So went on Sunday afternoon, me and Rocket brought me there. And I remember the first time I took a bump, man, I was seeing stars. I'm like, holy crap. I said, I don't know. Refereeing is pretty fun. I said, I don't know if I want to do this, right? So I did it, and we just went from there, man, and it just kind of blew up, and it's where I'm at. So I took off for 4 years. I officially retired in 19, and came back. Yeah, I was feeling really good, and I had some injuries, and a couple of things happened with my health. So I took off and let my body recoup, and I got that itch again. So I'm kind of back in the fold a little bit. So kind of
not gonna lie, I will say this: when you came back, APW, the crazy thing was, and we had Bobby on the show like a while back before House Party too. And he's like, dude, he wasn't supposed to see David because that was a surprise. David's actually, refereeing. So like I'm coming in with the belts and everything, right? And here you are. And I'm like, bro, is that David Silver? What the? And like my buddy Davey, shout out to Davey, was like, who's that guy? Well, that guy in the referee shirt used to wrestle. Now he's retired. But why is he a referee tonight? I guess they short on referees. I guess they call me like, hey, you want a referee tonight? Whatever. I didn't know anything. So when I saw that, I'm like, what the hell? What's David doing? You retired. What are you doing here? So then all of a sudden, Bobby's like, oh, damn, Nick saw it. Damn, we're going to have to do something about this. Shit. And I'm just playing off like, all right, cool. David's here. Let's go. Whatever. But in my head, something's happening. Sure enough, you came out, you ripped the referee's shirt, and I'm just like, let's go. Like, you can see the reaction in the crowd that night. Like, dude, it was insane to see you come back afterwards. 4 years.
4 years.
And I mean, I say it. You and Bobby had a damn good match, a good send off in a way for y'all at GSW. And I was right there, and I was like a few rows back just before the front row started happening for me. Because, But no, at the time I didn't have that much. No, the thing was, I remember watching that match. It's like, this is going to be a great match because there's a great feud happening. This is Cali Heat. This is one of the best tag teams in Louisiana, in my honest opinion. And to see Bobby turn on you was like, holy shit, like, that's insane. You know what I mean? Like, there's what the hell? So to see you come out, okay, well, he's actually retiring. It's like, well, that makes, okay, well, then let's see how that goes. And then for you to get that victory and you ride off the sunset, that was really cool. And as a matter of fact, I actually have that picture the night that you retired. I still got that picture. As a matter of fact, Preston put it on the House of Bentley page, which is right there. You can see you and Bobby right there. You know what I mean? So it's like, that was pretty cool. So to see you back in wrestling, much less APW, because, at this point, I've almost interviewed everybody in APW to the point that I might start getting the promoter to be like, hey, it's going to wear a Kayfabe banner around it. So to have that happen to you, dude, that's awesome. And I'm so happy that you're back. Now I can chant Pepto-Bismol. Get some heat.
And I'll tell you what, you call all kind of things. You come out in pink, get ready for it, right? You get ready for a lot of heat, which is what I want, right?
Exactly.
And Ashton comes out, and it's Colby's dad that tells him this in Gorilla. He said, "Man," he said, "Hey," he said, "get on the mic." Because for some reason, I'm just shopping. I need some new gear or something. I come across this Captain Sailor's hat. It's like, man, a pink one. I said, man, I want that. Tend to change it up a little bit. So I get, and that's when I come out, man. It's like I almost broke character when he says it. And Ashton's on the mic. He said, "Here we got." No offense to anybody, but he said, "We got gay Popeye right here." It's like, I can't even, dude. I'm like, oh no, he just had said, dude, like, I got in the bag. I said, dude, that was great. I said, you come up with that? He said, no, man. He said, Half-Breed told me that in Gorilla to tell you that. That's like, that's awesome, dude. And I like, said, yeah, you like a gay Popeye. It's like, oh man, it's like, oh dude, I almost broke like this. But it was great. And Ash is quick-witted, so when you're on the mic with Ashton, you got to be careful because sometimes he comes up with some crazy stuff.
Oh yeah.
But that was one of the best ones, man. Like from fans to anybody, that was like, man, that really almost broke me, But it was great.
I chanted Evil John Wick to him, and like I made him break character because he's a heel. He's the devil, and the thing was he's coming out with all this like really good stuff, and he's just looking like all evil and shit. He's like, you know what? I looked at my buddy Dave because Dave was sitting next to me, right? It's like, bro, it'll be funny if you chant Evil John Wick. And when he comes out, we do booga 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 booga. And like, even though he's supposed to be healed, but inside he is busting out laughing. So there's a spot to where he gets by us, because we're sitting in section D. Comes by us and we go, Evil John Wick. Evil John Wick. And I mean, he's literally on the second turnbuckle, pissing, laughing so hard. And it's like, you can't do that. You're breaking kayfabe. Don't do it. So yeah, it's pretty funny. So like, I've come up with some ridiculous chants, and I'm sure Dan and Joey have heard some of them on here. But the one that I think that probably stands the most for you, and now is an inside joke, is the infamous Pepto Bismol chant.
Yeah, that's a lasting one, man. That's almost everywhere. Like it is really like.
Oh, Bobby got it too. Trust me.
Yeah, but and when I come out with the first time I wore the leg warmers.
Yeah,
man, that was crazy. It's like, what the hell has he got? Has he got on? And like every time I try to I don't want to say reinvent myself. I want to add something to the character just to get that little extra. What the hell is he wearing? What has he got on? That sort of thing. It's like, what is this dude wearing? Like, what is he doing? Right. So it's like any reaction I could get, no matter what I do, I try to get it. So, so I try to be a little bit out there, and I guess it's kind of like, I always tell like any new guys that come into business. I'm not by no means a, expert or anything, but my thing is always character. Like, got to develop your character. So any kids that coming into the business, they're stale. They were like not stale, but they're worried so much about what to get in and what to do in the match. It's like, dude, find you something that appeals to the people.
Right.
Whether if you're, it's really hard to be a face. It's really, really hard. It's easy to be a heel, but if you can find something that either pisses people off or they don't like about you, and you can amp it up to a 10 out of 10, that's what you want, right? Either way, like, can you be that face? But it's really hard to do that, right? I mean, you really got to win over people. I can go over there and and get you guys to curse me out very easy. I can get the old lady in the first row, to curse me out. But to keep that going, and that's kind of one of my thing is and I learned that from one person. I learned that from Chris Paul from Rocket, and Mustang Mike too a little bit. And I don't know if you were coming to the shows at the time with Psycho Mike. Those guys really kind of helped me develop like what I wanted to do and take it to another stratosphere. And it's you got to be able to work. Don't get me wrong, but that character has to be developed. And I always say that character has to be developed, and take it to the next level, and that's kind of what I want to do. So, or I continue to do, especially as you get older, right? You got to develop, so it's been pretty cool. Yeah.
No, but all seriousness though, I didn't go to GSW until August of. As a matter of fact, next month will make 5 years since I've been going to GSW.
Oh, okay.
A buddy of mine, which is Robbie, who is one of my dearest best friends as well, member on the show. Which another guy that plays Fight Forever next to me and Dan, which I don't know if we'll be playing it after the show, but Dan, if you want to go 1-on-1 against me and Fight Forever.
Yeah, maybe. I think me and Joey are playing Rocket League.
Oh, well, fine. You play your damn Rocket League. Whatever. Anyway. So Robbie is good friends with Cody, right? And Robbie got into the indie scene because of me, because at that time I got back into watching like Ring of Honor, and I watched Impact Wrestling, and then I watched like every now and then New Japan Pro Wrestling. Check them out and all that stuff, because I was a big like Kenny Omega mark, and I mean I still am to this day. Next, especially next to Dan, because Dan's another one that's a big Kenny Omega guy. And Robbie was like, "Dude, you gotta come check out this wrestling promotion." Well, what is it called? I think it's called GSW's Golf State Wrestling. All right, cool. I'm gonna check it out, because at the time the only person I knew was Cody. So I started going there, and by production, I mean it's a local wrestling show. So I mean it's not WWE, right? It's not the AEWs of the world,
Right, yeah.
I've always said this, especially nowadays, the local scene is so much better than your WWEs or your AEWs or all that. Just the indie scene alone. Nowadays, like, you got Ring of Honor is back, even though it's owned by AEW. GCW, Game Changer Wrestling, not Golf Championship Wrestling. Black Label Pro, who is I think out of Chicago, if I'm not mistaken. Freelance is another one. Warrior Wrestling. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. You know, you got so many.
Yeah, you do.
Indie promotions.
Right.
And you look at like Louisiana, for example, even Texas. Dan lives in Houston, Texas. So with Dan sees like all like what local wrestling, like
we got Loco Pro Wrestling. We have Texas All Star Wrestling, and there may be a couple other promotions, but those are the only two that I know right off the bat.
Yeah. So even with that, I gave GSW a shot, and I'm gonna tell you, I was blown away. That's when I met you. That's when I met Chris. That's when I met Mustang. That's when I met. Oh God, that's when I met Who's Who, and then later on became good friends. And even though I might have pissed off some of the wrestlers, especially David Silver with the Pepto Bismol chant, the singing the whole jingle of Pepto Bismol, the entire section busting out laughing because I was doing the entire "Hey Pepto Bismol." Like one dude was literally in tears, and I'm like, "Roger Herbert indigestion of system diarrhea, yay, Pepto Bismol."
Could you just keep one thing in mind about diarrhea?
Sorry, no, that's too loud.
Not so much, no, but really and truly, it's like he showed me that. So if it wasn't for Robbie, there wouldn't be going to GSW. Hell, there wouldn't be that much of Ring of World of Kayfabe, because when we formed this podcast, I mean, yeah, we're three normal dudes. I mean, we're three average Joes. I mean, we all have shoot jobs, you know what I'm saying? But at the same time, we're fans of this product. We're fans of this sport, even though it's not necessarily a sport. It's, you know, it is what it is.
Hey, if NASCAR can be considered a sport, then pro wrestling can be a sport.
Okay, yeah, you got. I mean, shit, they're starting to recognize bare knuckle fighting as a sport, which is insane. By the way, go check it out. If you got Fight Plus, Fight TV Plus, dude, go check out some freaking bare knuckle fighting. Some crazy shit you see on there, bro. Like shit. But no, all seriousness though, like that's when I started following, and I think it wasn't until when my mom passed away the year after we had house party. That's when I kind of really got close to, you know, the Prestons, the Shawns, the Davids, the like, you know, all you guys at the time. Even with God rest his soul, with Mike, aka Hannibal. You know, that's the one I feel like I got the closest with, aside from you guys. You know what I mean? Because it's like, and there was one dude that would check up on me all the freaking time. It was him after my mom passed. So yeah, I feel like I owe a lot to you guys, and I feel like I owe a lot to, you know, the GSW people and all that stuff. So it's fun, especially whenever you guys come in practically my neck of the woods, New Iberia. Yeah, it's always the gas loves you guys. I love it as well because I ain't gotta burn that much gas. It can just take me 20 minutes to get there and 20 minutes to come back. So, oh yeah,
yeah, and you know, we all were wrestling fans. Like, it's rare that you find some, and there are some guys that weren't real wrestling fans. They might have had the physique, they might have had just right place, right time, whatever. Hey, look, somebody, hey, look, you might be, you know, interested in this. And this is like, you know, some over the top guys, like television guys I've known, like they weren't wrestling fans.
right.
Very few, but a lot of the guys were wrestling fans, right? And we're all, you know, Mark is supposed to be a bad term, right? And we're all it's true, and we are, because we all love this. We all love the sport. We all loved it, right? And we're all, you know, just a big fans of it, right? I mean, ever since I was a kid, you know, and I just never knew how to get into the business. Just never knew how to get into the business. And just fortunately, I mean, researching, and I just came across BCW. Like I told you earlier, but yeah, man, it's been great. I loved every minute of it. You know, there were some times to where, like, I wish, you know, could have been better. You know, I think the business aspect kind of gets to people's heads sometimes a little bit. But I think we all got to come together and, you know, but for the most part, this industry has been really good to me.
Yeah.
I loved every minute of it, and it's I lived out a dream, right? If I never get back into the ring again, and it's like it's been great. I could
Yeah.
say, look, I did it, and wasn't the best at it. I did my best at it, but I enjoyed it. I had great times, made great friends. So it gave me a bunch of experiences. I traveled places that I never thought I would travel. So yeah, man. So it's been fun. It is fun. Even just to be around the guys, even if I would just sit in the back, I still get that feeling and that camaraderie. So it's really cool just to kind of be back around. And the older I get, the less I like traveling. but but
All right.
that comes with the territory, right? So you got to travel. So
Well, let me
but
ask you
it is.
this: since you travel a lot, what was some of your favorite places to be when you was doing a wrestling show, like town wise, city wise, all that?
Oh man, oh, town wise, like it was really cool in a certain places. Like when I came, me and Rocket did several shows here, and he had a big Louisiana Championship Wrestling. I think Cody mentioned it on the
Yeah.
podcast last time. It was really big around here, and when he left, he kind of went away. And that was because it was my hometown, and being that I was a face here, and then I turned heel here. So that was a big thing, right? Face, 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 heel. Like, holy crap. And I left like that. But the reaction and the people that we packed, it was just fun because we're a small town here and we never had a whole lot. We don't do much here, right? So bringing it
Right.
it's kind of like a value pitch. Like there's not much there. It's a little bit bigger than value pitching, but it's just bringing it there. So there's one of the towns here, my favorite, and Morgan City in New Iberia. I have to say that's some wrestling. That's wrestling towns, man. It really, really is. It really is. So that's those towns are really, really cool to go to. You know.
Now, the thumbnail of this show is a picture of you, a wrestler named Scotty Phoenix, and the one, the only Jimmy Hart. Walk with me. How did you end up tag teaming with Scotty Phoenix?
Okay, me and Scott go way back, right? And it was when I first started Cali Heat, it was me and Justin Clark. It wasn't Bobby. Bobby was not the original member, but Justin Clark lasted for about a year with the Cali Heat. Me and Justin started as a Dark Angels. Kind of take a little bit of the backstory, and we dressed the same. We had the hoods and with the same hood, same outfit. We did the switcheroo type thing, the old grapplers type stuff, and that was awesome. And then we switched gears and we said, okay, what would call us to have Cali Heat? And Justin eventually stepped away from the business, and Bobby was by himself. He's like, man, my character's stale. I'm going nowhere. I said, look, how about we do this, right? Here's this guy. He's a big old boy, big burly guy. Let's make him dress in pink with me. Let's evolve. So we did that. Then, but before that came about, before Justin left, me, Justin, and Scott, for about 2 or 3 shows, were called PFT, Pretty Fine Things. And it was kind of like a 3-way. And like the thing was is we're going to do, if we ever got the tag titles, we're going to do the Freebird rule, right?
Oh, okay.
Yeah, that was kind of what's right. And we walk around with cans of spray paint, and it was like hairspray, right? Halloween hairspray, and we taped it. We took some athletic tape and put abs in a can because we're all about fitness. So we'd spray our opponents at the end once you're defeated. We spray abs on them, like a set of abs on them. So that came about, and like we just came called ourselves PFT. And then Scott started doing his thing, and that's when Cali Heat came really into fruition from that point. And then I had a few run-ins with Scott, and then I got a call from Mustang. He says, "Hey, man, you ever thought about getting back into business?" I said, "Man, I would love to." I said, "But give me a little bit of time." He said, "Okay, well, this is what we have planned." He said, "I would love to team you and Scotty up." I said, "Okay." He said, "Yeah." I said, "I love us to get with Scotty." And Scotty's out in New Orleans. And I said, see if he wants to get back into it. Because me and Scotty had been out for 4 years as well. So the same time frame. So he said, yeah. So Scotty agreed and just kind of put us together. I'll let Scotty come up with a name. And and that's basically how it went. And have it planned out for the next several shows, what he's going to do with us. So it's been pretty cool. Scotty's an old school guy, man. We wrestled against each other. We teamed together. I mean, we've been everywhere together. He's a really, really good friend of mine. We did a lot of
he's
crazy
jacked
things.
too. I mean, for his size, for his
Yeah,
height.
man. Yeah, and like we used to pick on Scotty, right?
Uh-huh.
Scott, like when I first started, I met Scotty at BCW training him. He was married at the time, and he ended up getting divorced. But Scotty would just work out his arms. He had big
Kind
arms,
of like
like
me.
that's it. Like Scotty would just say big arms. Like Scotty, you gonna work out everything else? Scotty, it's like, you got to work out your legs too, man. Like how about your shoulders? How about your chest, Scotty? And then like Scotty just like blew up. Like one day I was just pissed him off because we were messing with him so much. Guy just blows up, man. It's like, golly, Scotty. I said, now you get it. I said, now you starting. I said, you're gonna put everything together. And he started doing some bodybuilding shows, and he really got big into fitness. But yeah, Scotty was always in shape, man. Scotty was, yeah, Scotty's formed when I first met Scotty. He was in a tag team, the S&S Express. Scott Sterling, that was his original name.
Oh,
And yeah, and I forgot his
sounds
partner's name.
smooth.
Yeah, Scott Sterling. And look, dude, like I'm so dumb to the business, right? And I knew
Right.
Scott was from ERAF. And when I first started, and that was his name, Scott Sterling. I didn't know his real name. So I meet some people one time from ERAF. I said, hey, you know a guy by the name of Scott Sterling? He's from ERAF. Not Scott Segura. I didn't know his last name. So I'm calling him by his ring name. It's like, Scott Sterling? No, I don't know Scott Sterling. It's like, well, if you know who he really is, they might have known him. But yeah, I'm calling him Scott Sterling this whole time. It's like, dumbass. That's
Well,
his ring name.
my introduction to him when I met him, I'm thinking in my head because I'm so used to seeing you and Bobby together,
Yeah.
and when Scotty comes, I'm like, I just looked at Robbie and I'm just like, bro, is it me or did Bobby get ripped? What the? I mean, I know Bobby. Bobby's he's burly, but bro, what the fuck?
What the shit is doing, man? Like, what the
This
hell?
dude get freaking like what the hell? But no, yeah, for his size, because as a matter of fact, I was actually on the phone with my buddy Metzger, who is at this point a staple in the podcast. I have to do a shout out to him. You know what I mean? Almost all the time. Not all the time, but almost. And today I was on the phone with grocery shopping. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm doing David Silver tonight. And on the graphic, Joey, our freaking producer who does an outstanding job, by the way. He does a great job of the production, the sound, the sound bar, whatever the case it is. He's the man. And he put a picture of you, Scotty, and then Jimmy Hart. And it's like, oh, but that's gonna be great. That's gonna be good stuff. And it's like, yeah, bro, like you should see Scotty. He's like freaking jacked for his size. He's so freaking huge. Like, yeah, the dude's like all meat. Like he's meaty. Like the dude's ripped. Like that is goals for me. You know what I'm saying? Like I want to get like that freaking huge. The problem is, I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah.
I love food, bro.
We all do, man. Yeah, me too, man. Me
That's
too.
the problem. That's my downfall.
Scotty had a good run in the business, man. I don't know if that's kind of Scotty's background. Scotty did a few WWE appearances.
He looked like he
before.
did.
Yeah, he did. Scotty was on television too in TSW. And I forgot who owned that promotion or where it was out of, but I mean, they were televised, but of course it came on like it was, I don't know what station it was on, a minor station, and it come on like at 12 midnight, right? It's already carded, right? And Scott, get this now, Scott beats Lance Archer for the heavyweight title. Yeah, for the TSW heavyweight
That's
title.
crazy.
Yeah, yeah, and so Scotty had made some moves, and then he got in with Wildcat, and Wildcat got him a few appearances on WWE. But yeah, man, Scotty was on TV for a little bit, and Scotty made a name himself in the business for a while. Then he kind of he got injured, Messed up his ankle, broke his forearm, and so it really kind of put a damper in his spirits about it. And then so he just kind of took a back seat and kind of recouped and just kind of took off for a long time. So, but yeah, if it wasn't for his injuries, man, I have no telling where Scotty would be right now.
Scotty, I feel like the way how he looks,
Yeah,
I mean, he's
yeah.
money.
Oh yeah. And
And
like with WWE, that's one of the things that they look for is, your
yeah,
appearance, right? Yeah.
right.
Appearance. Yeah.
And with him now, I mean, yeah, I agree with you. Like they ain't no telling what that man would be. And I say the same thing for look at Preston Bentley. Bentley
Yeah.
is, oh my God, the manager, in my
Dude,
opinion,
he's gold, man.
the best manager since Jimmy Hart. And I will gladly say it. I love Big Ramp to death, and he knows that. But Preston Bentley is like he's, in my opinion, a once in a generation type of manager. I mean, you got your Bobby the Brain Heat, you got your Jimmy Harts, you got your James E. Cornette, and I mean Preston, Paulie Heyman, Paulie or whatever, Paulie Dangerous.
Yeah. Paulie Dangerous.
Paulie Dangerous. Thank you.
Yeah.
I age is showing. I'm sorry, but you look at that, and Preston's right there. He's in that long list of great talent. And I mean, and it's like we talked about on the show, if he would have just stuck around, if he would have done this earlier in his career, the dude would have been a megastar at this point.
Yeah, he is.
All that stuff.
His personality, just everything.
Yes.
I kind of want to compare him to, he's a little different because his style and his persona is a little bit different. But man, like if I had to compare him to one manager, is James E. Cornette.
Yeah,
like it's Cornette,
like a punk rock version of
correct.
James E.
Absolutely,
Cornette.
yeah. With the whole Mama Bentley, when Mama Bentley got the money, and James E. Cornette, Mama had the money. I get a call from Mama. So it's kind of that same thing. And this dude is like what he touches in the wrestling business is gold. And like that's what we're talking about character wise. Dude, this guy he don't have to do much anymore. Like he just comes out himself, and his character is his personality. Like what you get out of him there, not telling people to shut up or anything like that, but he's the nicest guy you'll ever meet. But man, when he steps out to the curtain, it's like, dude, like this guy, that's his personality. That's how he, he's funny. He's just like he's charismatic is all you could say about this guy. Love him to death.
I don't know if you guys have. I'm sure these two gentlemen right here. I'm sure they have questions they would like to ask you.
Sure, man. Shoot away.
If anyone has any questions, feel free.
Craziest or funniest road story?
Oh man. Let's narrow it down. One of the first ones, or like when I first broke into business, or I got one for you. And there's several, but I was talking about Rocket earlier. So we go out there, and I know Dan, you from Texas, right? You said from Houston. We go out there to USWA show, and it's me and Justin Clark and Rocket, and me and Justin are doing the Dark Angels thing under the hood. So we're heading out to, and I forgot what town it was, some little small town in Texas, other side of Beaumont, and we take Rocket's fiance's car, and it's a fairly new car, man. So we're like on this back road. There's nothing around us, man. We're traveling. And it's a middle day, about 2 or 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon. And man, we hear something just dragging on the road. It's like, what the heck is that? And the car is fairly new. It's like, what the heck is going? So we stop the car, and the front grill, it's not the grill, but underneath the carriage, like underneath the bumper, the thing fell off. And it's hanging on by a thread. And so we pick it up. Yeah, I was like, man, it's a brand new car. And like I said, my fiance is going to kill me. I was like, I don't know what I want to do. I said, let's just try to put it up. Snaps back on. All right, snaps back on. I said, it just came off. We take on about another road, falls off again. So like every mile or so, we stop it and putting it back on. So We come across, and there's nothing for miles, right? We're just down this road. We stop it every 5 seconds, snapping it on. So we get out, and man, we find this little bait and tackle shop. I was like, dude, we got to stop. He said, okay, let's find something that we could, duct tape or something so we can
Ugh.
put this. And we're running late, right? We're late for the show. We're getting late for the show. And we had nowhere we going. Like, we're still using GPS. And it's like the old GPS style. And we're just getting there. It's like, what are we going to do, man? It's like, and like, there's nothing we could use. We're looking. There's no rope. There's no twine or nothing. And I was like, man, we gotta put this. We gotta save this. We can't let it drag on the road this whole time. So we get in there, and I said, Rocket. I said, look. He said, what? I said, grab that. He said, so what fishing? It wasn't fishing line. It's like, like if you go fishing and you run the fish through the gills and you hang it and you hang your fish and you put them back in the water. I forgot what it's called, but it's string, but it's like a little needle at the end. You pass through the gills of the fish, and then like you stack all the fish on the line. You could just hold it in the water, whatever. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That was on the wall. So man, that's the only thing. He said, get it. So we get it, right? So we're gonna try to split it and tie this thing with that to the bumper somehow just to make it to the show. So Rocket gets down, he gets in the car. Well, he doesn't see bottle glass on the ground. He kneels down the bottle glass and he has jeans on. Dude, he cuts himself wide open. Yeah, so he's bleeding like a stunted pig, right? He has to go do a show, busted up knee. I mean, he's pulling glass out of his kneecap, and we're like pulling it out for him. And he's bitching, he's complaining, he's cursing up and down and stuff. God, like it was whatever, just miserable. But all of a sudden, we just like started busting out laughing. Like, dude, it just cannot get any funnier than this. So we ended up getting inside. He's bleeding. He tore up all his jeans, so he's got blood everywhere. He has no other change of clothes. That's how he gets to the show. He's just like busted up. We're all sweating, man, stinking. We're underneath the car in the hot sun, trying to tie this thing to the bumper, the undercarriage of the car. And it was so we get to the car, and that thing lasted all the way to the rest of the show, about another hour, and all the way back to this. So whatever we did with that fishing line, whatever it's called, it worked. But that was one of the coolest things we ever did. So on the way back, we're all tired and stuff, and it's about a 4-hour drive on the way back. So Justin's in the back seat, and I was like, we got to take turns, man, because we're gonna pass out. We got to take turns driving. So Justin's sleeping. So I drive about an hour. Rocky drives about an hour. So Justin's sleeping. So wake up, Justin. We pull over on the exit. Say, hey, Justin, it's just time to get up, man. You gotta hurry. You gotta drive. What? So he's all out of it. Like, you don't know where, you don't know what to do. He's like all frantic. He gets in the drive. He just wakes up, right? He gets in the driver's seat. I said, dude, there's an 18-wheeler coming. Like, he has no idea. Like, he didn't take a look at no 18-wheeler or nothing. Like, he didn't got nothing. He presses out. He peels out in the rocks, like off the drive. Oh, man, you can't wake me up like this. And he's like peeling out. Rocket screaming at him, you're gonna kill me. You're gonna wreck my fiance's car, man. Slow down. You just told me to go. You told me to go. So, dude, it was hilarious. And me and Rocky were just bawling out laughing because we scared this dude half to death. We woke him up from a sudden sleep. Get in the seat. You got to get in the seat. Hurry up. There's an 18-wheeler coming, man. He's about to hit it. He presses the gas and he's taking off and he's frantic. But he's really not woken up yet. Like, he's like driving kind of halfway to sleep, but just frantic. And dude, we're in the back seat and just rolling. Like, it was like one of the funnest trips I ever had. Like, it was hilarious. So that's one of the big. I know it's not crazy, but I mean, that was one of my funnest trips ever because we did so much stuff. Now, another one, like me, talking about me and Scott and PFT, me, Scott, and Justin, we had a show somewhere in Zachary, I believe, or somewhere around that area. So we stopped at the LSU football game and we watched a spring game.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. And that's when Justin was doing the Green Man costume thing. Did y'all ever see about that? Like the Green Man? Like, that was his name, Green Man. It's like a total green suit. like they use it for like background stuff, like in I don't know movies or something
The
like
only
that.
the only Green Man I'm thinking of is like the Green Man from that's where my age about the show. The SmackDown games, like Here Comes the Pain,
Yeah.
Shut Your Mouth,
Okay.
like that
Yeah.
Green Man.
That's
Yeah.
what he. That's what he is. It's a total bodysuit with the head covered and everything, right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty cool. He gets into we go to a show. He dresses in it, get into the lobby of the hotel room. So he's running down up and down the lobby, yelling, "Green Man, Green Man, Green Man!" And the little receptionist is, I mean, like she has no clue what's going on with this retard running down the hallway yelling, "Green Man, Green Man, Green Man." Where
Right.
they, that was another one too, and that was a way back. But yeah, there's several, man. I'd be here all night talking about that. That's one of the funnest parts about being in business is those road stories. But that first one we talked about heading out to USWA, that was my funnest one that I had.
I think Dan's got some over here.
So, really quick before I jump into this one, did you like as a child, did you get to go to a lot of like the big wrestling events like NWA, WWF, anything like that? And if so, do you have one that sticks out that you still vividly remember?
Yeah, man. My dad was hats off to my dad because my dad is the one who got me into the wrestling business, and all my brothers and my whole family, except for my sister, were into wrestling. And my dad in Lafayette, there was a TV tapings, Mid-South TV tapings at the Municipal Auditorium. It's gone now. And we go there, and my mom would pack salads for all the sandwiches for the boys, and they'd take us there. And then when that closed, they started going to the Rapides Parish Coliseum. And my biggest one I remember, my funnest one I've ever been to, I remember like vividly, was my eighth grade year. Instead of my eighth grade graduation party, I had my dad take me to NWA at the Rapides Parish Coliseum. I didn't want to miss it. It's like, no,
Oh,
we could forget that, right? I'm not going to eighth grade graduation party. Dad, I want to go to NWA house show. And so that was one of the coolest ones. I still remember to this day because I skipped my graduation party to go. It's like, where you been? It's like, I had to go to, I got a wrestling event I wanted to go to. It's like, and like none of my, very few of my friends were into wrestling. I had one that was into wrestling, but none of the guys really were. So I didn't really understand why. It's like, what you gonna do over there? Like, dude, like, this is what I love. I watch it all the time. I love it. They come into Rapides Parish Coliseum. So that's one of my most vivid, memories of that. When I was younger, we never went. WWF never really came around to Louisiana a whole lot. It was more WCW, NWA, Mid South. That grew down here, right? WWE didn't start really coming into maybe the 90s,
it was like
2000s.
late
Really,
99,
yeah,
2001, I want to say.
yeah. It's really when it kind of started expanding down here
Yep.
in the South. Yeah, because WCW was the Southern Boy, the Southern Boy company, right? And man, I'll tell you what, I literally cried when they shut the doors. Look, I'm a WCW fan, NWA, Mid South, UWF, all of that. Yeah, it's just
So, do you
yeah.
recall? That NWA event that you skipped your eighth grade graduation party for? Do you recall what the main event was? Still,
No, man, I wish I could. I wish I could. I don't know. I remember the one of the things I remember about the show was Brad Armstrong, and I can't
Oh,
tell you if he was in the main event or not, but I know he was in one of the later. He was on later on the card, but I don't believe it was the main event. He gets into the ring and he introduced first. He came in and he is just testing the ropes, right? Like we all do. And he tested the first time he tested the whole ring, the top rope broke. So that was my memory of that show. So the intermission and came back and fixed it, and they eventually finished the show. But yeah, that was kind of the thing I do remember was that Brad Armstrong testing the ropes, backing into it, testing, and boom, the top notch broke on one of the corner posts, off one of the corner posts, and they had to hurry up and fix it. So I remember that's one thing I do remember about that show.
So when I've been a wrestling fan since I was probably 2 years old. I'm almost 40 now. So one of the coolest things I have ever done personally, my grandmother in March of '89 took me to my first WWF event. I was 3 years old, and she took me to go see Hulk Hogan. And I still remember the main
Brother.
event. It was Hulk Hogan versus Big Boss Man in the big blue wrought iron cage. And they had like the Rockers versus the Brain Busters, and there was other matches. I lost the program there, but the one thing I kept out of it was the original ticket stub.
Ticket. Oh, that's awesome, dude.
Yeah, it's still in mint condition, and
Yeah.
I still have the Hulk Hogan bandana that my grandmother bought me that night, and it's in my bag with the winged eagle belt that Nick gave me for Christmas. That's probably one of the coolest things.
Coolest things.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. My dad was so big into it, and until he passed, my dad was a big, big mark. And my dad believed, like, he was very ignorant into the business, even smarten up too much, right? Even as I grew, even before I even got, it's like, okay, that's scripted. My dad didn't want to believe it. He was just like old school. My dad was an elderly guy. Like I was, the youngest out of five. So my dad, when he passed, he was 83. So he'd be he'd be on almost 100 now. But like I was born way late, so all my brothers and siblings were really, really older than me. So he was just like old school. Like back in the day, man, it's like in the 60s and 70s and even the 80s, dude, that to them it was real. Back in that day, those fans thought it was like real.
Real shit, yeah.
Yeah, like, dude, like, yeah. So he was one of those crazy fans that you had to be careful in the parking lot with. It's true. It's like,
Yeah.
my dad had a little few, screws loose. So,
Oh no.
yeah. So there was this old tag team called the Daltons.
Okay.
And I can't remember their first name, but they're called the Daltons. And one of their things was like tie a rope around the opponent's neck, throw them over the top, and hang them over the top rope, right? And we all know what to do. Like, okay, you hold it, I'll make sure that you're safe with it. Well, my dad's a little crazy, right? He takes his pocket knife out, and he goes up and he cuts the rope. Like,
Oh my god.
oh yeah, dude. So, dude,
Yes.
he cuts the rope, right? It's like my brothers and like I wasn't born yet when he did it, so my brothers were telling me the story. He said, "Yeah, man, this is dad cut the rope," So they escorted him out, and security came and escorted him out of the building. I was like, I said, "You can't do that," and like so, dad thought it was like real life, It's like so he was one of those crazy fans like you see on back in the day, and oh man, so yeah, so that was a little nuts when it came to it,
Even in 2013, I saw an elderly lady trying to beat up Triple H with her cane. So
Yeah.
they're
Wild.
still wild out there right
they're
now.
still there. They
It
still
was when almost
there,
took out
man.
Hulk
Oh
Hogan
yeah,
back in the day.
yeah, they still there.
Or Hollywood Hogan, I should say. Not
Yeah,
Hulk Hogan. But
so, yeah, that was cool.
I know for a fact James E. Cornette, or Jim Cornette, I should say, says that Homa is one of the deadliest cities to do a wrestling show. Like, to me, still to this day, I feel like that's true.
Yeah,
Because back in the day, like, if you was a heel going to Homa, like, oh, bro, prepare to get, like, your tire slit or, like, some crazy shit happen to you. You know what I mean? So, like, I can definitely agree on that. Now, with Dan's question, I as a kid, I never had an opportunity to go to a wrestling show up until when I was 23, which is insane because like WCW was around the time, like back in the early 90s,
yeah,
the 2000s. That was basically all the wrestling stuff I would watch. I would watch WWF every now and then, like WWE, what it is now. I would watch that every now and then, but mainly it was WCW and like your NWOs, your Stings, like your Dean Malenko's, Eddie Guerrero, DDP, like so on and so forth. Like that was awesome. And I remember like
that was, man.
I had a PS1 at the time, and I remember like I finally got one, and I got WCW Mayhem for the PS1.
Oh,
And like
dude, Dude, that was like crazy. What? It's one
at
of the
the
best games
time,
ever.
oh, bruh, Revenge. Like me and Dan can sit here and say that how much we appreciate the Aki games, and it's like you look at AEW Fight Forever, for example, that just came out not that long ago. I don't know if you watch AEW or not,
Yeah, oh, I love it.
but
Yeah.
AEW is basically what WCW in a way should have been.
Yep.
In a
I
way,
agree.
and with Fight Forever just came out, it's basically just that is a big fat love letter to the Aki games. You know, specifically No Mercy and WCW versus NWO Revenge.
Now there's one game that of WCW that doesn't seem to get any love, and that's WCW NWO World Tour. I mean WCW World Tour. Nobody ever mentions that game, but it was a pretty good game.
It, in my opinion, it started the groundwork of what WrestleMania 2000 and No Mercy would be, and even what Revenge would be. You know what I mean? And those games are great, but it's like I'm with David. I was pro WCW at this point. When I was a kid, I started watching.
Yeah. It was pretty sad to that final Nitro. I had friends come over for that final Nitro, and I was just like,
and then you heard,
like a few weeks before it, we had that hint of luck, like Eric Bischoff coming on. We will be buying WCW. And all that, and then the next week he's like, "Oh, it's not going to go through. See you next week."
Yeah, we've all had a lot of good memories with WCW, and I keep forgetting, like, along with Nick, there was times where I was pro WCW and anti WWE, like especially.
That's how pro WCW was. That's a good job, Dan.
In 1997, right before Halloween Havoc, I went to a house show. At the, it was called at the time the Reliant Arena, because it was right next door to the Reliant Astrodome, where WrestleMania would have been a couple years after that.
Really?
Well, I went, yeah. Huh. It's a little smaller place that's in the same parking lot as the stadium where the Texans play and the Astrodome that they don't do shit with anymore. It's so sad. But I went to a WCW house show, and I think all of the NWO was there. The original NWO, Rey Mysterio was there back when he was Rey Mysterio Jr. And I think the coolest thing, I was fifth row ringside, and when Rey Mysterio climbed up on the ropes and he took his mask off, and he always had another mask, and he tossed the mask out, I think my fingertips hit the shoelaces that tie his mask. If I was just a hair taller, I would have grabbed it. But don't ask. I don't remember what the main event was. I think it was probably something with Luger or whatever. But that was one of the funnest things I've ever done. And it's such a shame I don't remember it that vividly. But I still did I give it to you, Nick, that Halloween Havoc poster?
No, you never did.
Fuck. Okay. Well, I have a original. They were giving them out. I remember as we were leaving, and they were giving away Halloween Havoc 97 posters. And on the back of it, it had an advertisement for WCW versus NWO. No. WCW World Tour.
Yeah.
And that was so fucking cool, man. God, it was so cool.
The Revenge came out the year after. But yeah, I think my coolest WCW moment, even though it happened last year, was finally get the chance to meet Sting. And it's oh man, it's a dream come true. Like I even met Diamond Dallas Page months prior to meeting Sting, like before meeting him. Like he was very cool.
Yeah.
Super chill dude.
Yeah, DDP, I met him back in 99, and he put me in the Diamond Cutter for a photo, and then he insisted to put my dad in the Diamond Cutter also for a photo.
Now, have you ever got to share the locker room with somebody that you have watched in the past, or?
Yeah, man. And I was fortunate to work with several of them. I know Cody mentioned he shared the locker room with the Rock and Roll Express. I was able to do that. That was like my childhood tag team.
Yeah, right? I was gonna say, I bet you that was like God in your face.
Because I'm gonna age myself. I'm 49, so
wow.
So when I was younger, like it was the feud between Midnight Express, Rock and Roll Express. That was like, man, that was badass, right? Love with James E. Cornette. It was just so into it, right? And then when I got to share the locker room, it's like, oh my God. I said, I can't believe it. And I even went to Robert Gibson, had a little seminar over in Chack Bay one year. I was able to do that and listen to him and just pick his brain on some stuff. Also, Hacksaw Jim Duggan several times.
Oh,
MVP, One Man Gang. Shoot, Lance Archer. Uh, um, Shane Douglas, Sandman. Buff Daddy.
Oh, that's cool. That's
Yeah, yeah. That was actually Morgan City. So yeah, I got to speak with him too. I think I even have that picture with me and him and Bobby. So yeah, man. So there was a lot of guys that I was able to share the locker room, or even work with. So took some bumps with, like I see MVP on I tell my son, I say, the dad worked with MVP, and he like, what? Like he like like there's no way, like. And like he's on TV and you sit in my living room. How did you ever work with him, right? It's like,
yeah.
hey man, it was like he was doing Indies at the time, right? He came to Oakdale and did some stuff for Rocket over in Oakdale. So yeah, man. So yeah, it was fun. Some great times, man. I love working with a lot of guys, and like just the other day again, I've never met Jared King Lawler. Worked with the King. And just the other day, it was the first time I had Jimmy Hart. He was supposed to be on a show previously before I retired, and then he couldn't make it for some reason. So I was awesome just to meet him. One person I kind of wanted to meet was him. So I got the opportunity to do that. So yeah, man. So that was some pretty good guys in the locker room. Some childhood guys that I watched on TV forever. So it was awesome, right? Yeah.
That's awesome. Now, do you we ask every guest on here, it's just a kind of a reoccurring thing, especially with Nick. Do you watch Dark Side of the Ring?
Oh man, like
that's
do
good
I?
shit.
Oh, dude, it's some good shit.
So what's your
shit.
opinion on the Abdullah the Butcher episode?
Good question. Good.
Yeah, man. And listen, what's the guy's name that had to quit wrestling?
Hannibal.
Devin,
Yeah, Hannibal and that.
Nichols.
Yeah.
Deal
And
with.
yeah, man, and it was shitty, like what he did to him. Like he knew.
Now
He knew.
let me ask you a question, or let me not. Okay, yes, a question. Coming out of that episode, do you still feel sorry for Hannibal, or do you not, because of the instance of what he did later to that referee with that spike and completely just mauled that dude?
Oh, that was him that did that?
Yeah, that was Hannibal under his mask. He was an alter ego called the Blood Hunter. So apparently 10 minutes before he went out for the show, they seen him in the back stumbling, okay? And he wasn't himself.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
So he went out and he was under a mask. And he said that the spike he used was given to him by Kevin Sullivan because it was the same spike that Kevin Sullivan used to bust Dusty Rhodes open back in the day with, right? He said that I just felt like it was a bunch of excuses, a bunch of he said, she said. I couldn't see because of the mesh in the eyes of the mask, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it sounded like a bunch of shit.
I feel like you took liberties with that ref. Like you took it way too far.
Not only that, the man was complaining that Abdullah had hepatitis. And you're literally doing the same exact thing to this referee. You almost killed the man.
Yeah, I didn't know that part. I had no idea about that part. That it was him under the mask. I had no idea.
Apparently
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Well, apparently the ref lost 3 pints of blood. Had to have he had to have surgery on his skull. Oh yeah. So Devin Nichols or Hannibal, he's not fucking innocent.
Yeah, he's blackballed.
See, I didn't know that. Yeah, no shit. Yeah, and it was one of those things. Dusty did it a whole lot. Dusty Flair,
New Jack.
but man, Yeah, New Jack, right? It's like New Jack's on another level.
Yeah.
Shout out to New
Yeah,
Jack. New Jack.
New Jack. New
So
Jack never had any accusations of like spreading hepatitis or anything, but
No,
yeah.
but he stabbed
No,
the
no,
freaking
no,
dude,
no.
though.
Yeah, he
Plus-
just stabbed him. Yeah,
plus-
here, this is a clean knife.
Hey, hey, and who even really? And this is I'm not trying to play devil's advocate. Who even really knows if Abby gave him Hep C? He used to go wrestle over in Puerto Rico, which is a fucking blood promotion, where they were sharing needles or
Yeah.
not needles.
Yeah.
They were sharing blades.
Yeah.
That's insane.
And I'm like, how you do that? Like, how you share blades? Like, man, when you do it, like, I never done it, right? I came close several times, never did it. And I know a lot of guys who did it, and I was taught how to do it, but I never did it. But I see a lot of people, they'll bring their stuff in their bags. Like if they plan on doing it, brand new blades, soaked in alcohol, already trimmed. They take it out, and they fix it up, whatever. And they, if they're going to do it themselves, they do it themselves. So everything is brought for them, right? And by themselves, and everything's soaked in alcohol. You can tell they're brand new. They cut them right there, put it back in. When it's time to go, they take them out and they do what they got to do. But a lot of people talk about the commission and how the commission is tough, and it is, and in its own way, it's a good thing. And the blood work, I'm really 100% for that. I know it's a little hassle. We got to get blood work, so you do it once a month, man. Come on, if it's for safety, go do it, right? So I'm all for that. I'm pro that. So, yeah, man. But yeah, going back to that that dude the butcher stuff, he was wild, man.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
he taped them to his fingers. Like he had like 3 or 4 taped to his end of his fingers, and he was just like,
Yeah,
he
he
do
would
it like,
just,
like
he
it
would
was just
just
like,
poke you.
it was just pop, 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 like, wow. And he'd do it differently, like the way I was taught to do it. It's like, it's like you tape it to where it's only because you don't want to cut yourself so deep, right? You cut it in triangular form, and the base of the triangle you taped where only the end or the corners are sticking out, and you take it out, you put it up there, and it's like boom, you stick and twist, not slice, stick and twist. Some people slice. He was slicing himself.
Yeah.
It's like, dude,
Yeah,
how
it
you
was
do
insane.
that, right? Yeah, like, I almost rather like somebody do it for me than me have to do it.
Yeah.
It's like I couldn't. It's like, it'd be hard for me to do.
Crazy.
But then you got to trust the guy that's doing it, right? You got to trust that what they're doing is clean. So that's the kind of the thing that I always battled with, was that I never really was, okay, I'm not going to do it. If it was called for me to do it, I would have done it. Nobody's ever asked me to do it. And never thought I really had to draw that out. I did use blood capsules one time, and it was a complete and utter failure. It really was. Like it really didn't work. You really couldn't see it. It was just crappy, and I never went back to it again. So I said, if I do it, we'll do the actual thing. But I was never asked to. And I kind of wanted to in one match. I thought it would, but then ended up doing it because somebody else was doing it later in the show. So that's something you don't want to take away. So I didn't do it. But it came close one time, and that was about it. So never thrilled me to do it.
Now, do you believe this is to be true, or do you believe it's complete bullshit? How Abdullah says from the second grade, he can never read or write.
Yeah.
Who like?
I just highly doubt that when he's done all this business stuff
Yeah.
with starting a restaurant and everything.
Well,
Dude,
and it's funny because when you have Mick Foley, he's the biggest teddy bear in professional wrestling, literally saying like he's never ever had a problem reading or writing in my presence. Literally, Mick Foley calling you out?
Call him out. And like, we're eating at a restaurant. He's reading the menu. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that cracked me up. I'm like, wait a minute. I had to rewind it a couple times. Maybe
It's like, we go eat and you read the menu. It's like,
you literally sit there saying, "Oh, well, I can't read, I can't write. I don't want to do that." But then all of a sudden, oh, well, I would like to have this, that.
Yeah.
Good to go. But yeah, so fun fact, Abdullah was going to be one of our very first guests on the show.
his manager randomly reached out to us like we'd only been running for maybe like 2 weeks, and
Yeah.
he messages us saying he wants Abdullah to come on so he can raise money because he's poor.
Because he's not building a bunch.
Destitute or whatever it's called.
Like,
And I turned him down just because I don't like Abdullah because of the whole animal hepatitis everything. But yeah.
We had to turn him down, unfortunately. But at the same time, it's like now that I'm glad that we did, because it's like, and not for anything, we all struggle for financial stuff and all that shit. It happens.
I don't want to have somebody.
us.
I don't want to have somebody on just spewing bullshit about. He basically wants money because he hurt somebody.
Yeah,
he got a lawsuit against him for that. Anything
which he has never paid a dime yet,
which is insane. Which is very insane. I'll tell you what else is going to be insane. Tomorrow night,
Bam Bam Bigelow.
Oh,
I thought it was going to be Bash at the Beach.
No, tomorrow's Bam Bam Bigelow, bro. The Beast from the East.
Yeah.
See,
I'm looking forward to this one.
I feel like the last 2 episodes are going to be fantastic. We got Bash at the Beach 2000, and then the one that I feel like it's going to be the very best episode of the season is Marty Jannetty, which is like.
Have you ever met him in person?
Me?
Marty Jannetty?
No.
Maybe that's for the best.
If all of a sudden I cut off my I just lost audio. I just couldn't hear anything. The recording's fine, but yeah.
Yeah. Do you ever read some of Marty Jannetty's random Facebook posts? They're a little disturbing.
Really? No, I'm not. I don't even follow him.
Just go humor yourself and go find him on Facebook. If you think you're
it's off the wall shit.
Uncomfortable.
His career took like a serious downturn. Like when it started when the Rockers broke up.
Well,
that was
because
it.
He tried
when the Rockers broke.
He tried to jump through that barbershop glass. That's where it all. Remember, he tried to jump out. Heenan said, "Try to jump out."
He was just horrible.
If you follow Marty on Facebook, his posts are just insane.
The man talking about, I think I was involved in a murder one week, and then the following week it's like, I didn't think I had anything to do with that murder.
What?
But last week I was involved in it. But this week I don't think I'm good. But I remember I had like wild sex with this one girl, and dude, he's hilarious. Dan said it best. If you're having a bad day, you gotta check this out.
Like, correct me if I'm wrong. Joey knows this more than anybody, and I apologize if I'm fucking this up already. Didn't he say some shit of like if she wasn't my daughter or some shit like that?
Yeah, he said that, and then it turned out like she was adopted or whatever. So he's like, "Oh, I can sleep with her now."
Yeah,
dude,
bro.
Like he's fried, dude.
Yeah.
When they interview him, like even like on some of the, I think he was like maybe on a few of the episodes, maybe in the past. Like Dark Side of the Ring, maybe, or something other. This dude's fried. Like he is just fried. Like, man, like he had to do more drugs than than Sean. Like,
100%.
He seems
like just fried.
He seems proud to be on Dark Side. He's actually promoting it.
Yeah,
of course he is.
Yeah, because what this is to him, it's probably a cash grab. Vice offered him money to do this episode.
Yeah,
so that's all he's doing.
Does he still do like random independents?
I'm not sure.
I think so.
I'm going to look that up right now.
That's actually
look that up, Joey. Look it up and see
if he's wrestling, he should be on CageMatch.net. So let's see. It says the last one was in 2018.
I'm sure it was like a brief, like, "Hey, how you doing?"
Yeah, it was some.
And it's like,
give me the razzle dazzle.
It was a tag team match, multi-man.
Now, really quick question. I know you already said you do watch WWE and AEW. Do you watch the New Japans and stuff like that?
No, man, and like WWE, I'm not. I just listen. I will watch a pay-per-view, and in the pay-per-view, I'm a big fan of New Japan's the guy who holds that title. What's his name?
This one?
Yeah, Will Ospreay.
Oh,
You
that's
see
my
Right.
dude.
Yeah, he's
That
great,
is my
man.
pick to
Like
win the
he's great,
G1.
dude.
Bro,
Like,
you gotta
yeah,
throw up one of those for him.
yeah, yeah. I like Will Ospreay, man. I'm not a I'll watch if it's on. Like I've seen New Japan. Yeah, I'll watch it. But I'm not really big into WWE. My son is. Took him to his first event back in Lafayette when it first came in. That made his world, man. He'd never been there before, never been to any event, never came to my events. So he was just all in all. But I'm I'm so much of a fan of WCW and what it grew into. And I really wanted to cry, or like when it went away. And it's like, man, what are we gonna watch now? Right? What are we gonna watch
Yeah.
now? There's nothing, like, right? Then Impact started or TNA started. So kind of got into TNA a little bit, and some WWE guys went to WWE. So I kind of watched it for a little bit because of that, but that kind of went to crap. I was hoping they could do something with WCW, having the brand and still kind of keep it, maybe
Kind of
like
like
kind of what they're doing with
ECW.
NXT. Yeah, kind of like what they're doing NXT or a little separate brand or something of that nature, but that fell by the wayside. And and it's like, okay, now TNA is here. It's like, okay, great. And it's like finally an alternative. And I wasn't a fan of the six sides. I wasn't a fan of it, but I get why they did it to be different. But I wish I would have. And so when he came in, took it over. So I was like, yeah, I was like, okay,
Brother.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, brother.
That was a number two, second promotion they demolished.
Shots fired.
Now,
Like,
they did
it's like,
now Hogan's time in TNA does get crapped on, but they still did have some good stuff during the time.
Yeah,
they
Jeff
did.
Hardy coming
They
out
did.
high
They
as
did.
shit.
Yeah,
They
yeah,
did.
they did.
They did. We
But
we had
and look, I
I
still
mean-
say to this day, Dixie Carter was the reason why it's not. Scott Demore and the shareholders, whoever's owns it now,
It was Don Callis at one point.
Don Callis, yeah. And I hated the fact that Don Callis left, but they're doing everything is small, which is they staying in their budget. They're lasting longer than people ever
They're
thought they
doing
were
great.
lasting.
yeah.
I will say
know?
that their pay-per-views, in my opinion, are like, look at, was it Hard to Kill last year?
Yeah.
That Honor No More debuted. I want to say, like, that pay-per-view alone was great. The
Mhm.
Hell Rebellion this year, just
Hey,
Yeah.
don't spoil Slammiversary. I still need to watch it. Okay?
I didn't watch. Yeah, I didn't watch it yet. So you
ah, I'm
I didn't watch it.
happy and then I'm not happy. Like some of them, I enjoy for what it was. I enjoy Slammiversary. I forgot they had an Ultimate X match, and like one of the guys, and I would love to have him on the show. Speedball Mike Bailey.
Woohoo!
Like this dude is so fun to watch. He reminds me of like a X Divisional Liu Kang in a way. Like he's got that type of vibe. Like, if he starts coming out with the pants, he'll be like American to Jury or something. Like he's actually pretty fun to watch. If you ever get a chance, go check him out.
Yeah.
It's awesome. It's good
Bro,
stuff.
you hear your boy Nick Aldis is WWE bound, but he's
Yeah.
not gonna be a wrestler.
I always
No.
thought that Nick Aldis was older. I thought he was like in his 40s. He's 36, and they're
Yeah.
talking about putting him as an agent in
Yeah, as an
WWE,
agent.
and that seems like such a waste of his talent.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Like
Like-
Nick Aldis is like again another one that's once in a generational type of wrestler. Like you got Cody Rhodes on there. Here's an idea: put Nick Aldis, interrupt that match against Brock Lesnar, beat the shit out of Cody.
No, I think I already know what's gonna happen. I know.
Okay, well, what do you think is going to happen?
So I'm giving you a prediction for SummerSlam really quick because I know we're just
prediction
kind of
is a spoiler.
I know we're jumping all over the place. I
That's
think
pretty much the norm these days.
I think in either one of the main events, either Roman and Jay or Brock and Cody, I see it more in Cody and Brock. I think Bray Wyatt's returning.
You got that off a damn internet. No.
I've seen it, but that doesn't mean I ripped it straight from there.
I agree, though. I will say I will agree because I don't see him coming back against Jay and Roman.
No,
I see him coming back against Cody and Brock. And if he does, go after Brock Lesnar.
Brock's gonna be like, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
If he goes after Brock, we're just gonna get results in another WrestleMania. You know, like that.
Okay, but then, worst case scenario, do Cody Rhodes, and I think that would be great. But which Bray Wyatt are we going to get? The Fiend? Or are we going to get what we got over the last few months, which was...
Well, I heard something different. I heard he's coming back as Husky Harris.
Yeah, I was going to say Husky Harris coming back.
Shit, because like Husky Harris, let's go.
Well, remember...
You don't remember what you did to be Cody?
We need Nexus to come back.
Remember WWE? WWE just recently changed Bray Wyatt's profile pic to The Fiend.
Yeah.
So, dude, if Bray comes back, I hope he's the Fiend. I hope so.
It would make sense.
That was the best character he's ever done. It was so cool.
100%. But yeah, so I will say this in closing. I kind of ran out of what else was. Oh, yeah. Did you watch? Yeah, take two. Did you watch Forbidden Door? And I'm talking to you, Dave. Well, I'll just say this.
No, I don't think I did. No, I didn't.
You gotta watch Will Ospreay versus Kenny Omega.
Dude.
You gotta watch it.
Just watch
you love Will Ospreay?
Yeah.
You gotta watch it. You gotta watch it. It is absolutely amazing. One of my favorite matches of the year by far.
10 minutes into that match till closing, all three of us were watching it together.
Yeah.
That match, bro, I swear to God, I had goosebumps. That match was so fucking phenomenal.
Like, just the entrances alone. Like, I feel
that
like...
match elevated this title.
Yes. You know, what?
Elevated.
Why is it like this? Is he just is he assigned with strictly just with New Japan? Does he have like... Yeah. So he can work with like in Forbidden Door, and he could work with AEW when they have that agreement.
Well, he could work. He could probably work anytime they want. They have a really good working agreement, so it's just whenever they want to.
Yeah, and he was allowed to work on the indies and all that, but he said he's going to lay back off the indies because his body is taking a toll.
Guess so. I mean, you're doing the flippy bullshit. I mean, shit. My body at that point, I would want to take a break from the indies too.
But yeah, go out of your way before we leave. Watch that match sometime. Just give it a shot.
Yeah, and like I'm a really big, and I don't get to watch, but when I do, he's on. It's like, man, I gotta watch this dude. Like he is like, he needs to be like, I don't know, man. Like he's like a Kenny Omega. Don't get me wrong, and I'm not that two separate entities, but they're both phenomenal, right?
Absolutely,
but man. Like Will Ospreay, dude, is like, why is this dude like not? I don't know, man. Like more mainstream. Like, if you don't watch New Japan, and like I said, I'll watch it when it's on, and if I catch it, I don't try to watch it every time. But if I see him, it's like, okay, I'm watching this match, right? But man, he's just so phenomenal. It's like this dude here, man. It's like, why this guy? Like, I don't know if WCW. I don't know why WWE never went after him, right?
Well,
like, maybe they did. I don't know.
I must say they did whenever they had the Cruiserweight Classic. When that was starting to come up, they wanted to sign Will Ospreay. They were going to sign Zack Sabre Jr., but Zack turned him down.
Yeah, he's another good one.
Yeah, another amazing talent in so many ways.
They had Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, Kota Ibushi's another one. Another one that they were going to sign, but Kota's like, no, I don't want to be a part of that. But with Ospreay, at that time, because he had just wrapped up, I think, like Rev Pro, like this is when he was like doing like the PWGs, the Rev Pros, like I think IWC or ICW or something like that. Paul Heyman had offered him a contract to WWE.
Yeah.
There was actually like a segment or so to where Paul Heyman came to England. This is like during like the WWE, like their tour in England. And Paul Heyman's like, hey, look, you are an absolutely amazing talent. We need someone like you to be a part of this company. And whenever you're ready, here's a contract. Go ahead, sign it. Well, at that time, Ospreay was, I believe, a free agent. Correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. He was a free agent.
No, he was still in his early days of Rev Pro because right now he's still the Revolution Pro World Champ.
No, he's not.
Is he not?
No, he's not.
Okay.
Somebody else got that title now. I forget who, but
Okay.
But anyway, yeah. So he had the opportunity to go to WWE and compete in the Cruiserweight Classic, and I mean, just think if he would have actually done that, the matches that we would have gotten with just him alone, him against Gargano, him against Kota Ibushi, you know what I mean? Like those being him against Tajiri, you know what I mean? But like he got signed to New Japan, and I mean he's killing it. I mean he became the IWGP champion last year, which I thought was going to be an absolute money idea. Make this man world champion. Because I'm like you. Why is this man not, why is he not having the world title? Like, why is he not mainstream? You know what I mean? And it's like, he's got this great faction that's not Bullet Club. He's got this faction, United Empire, which is absolutely amazing. You know what I'm saying? Like, they're kind of like the second tier. Because, I mean, you got Bullet Club. You also got Los Ingobernables de Japón as well, but they kind of fell off the radar. So now United Empire is kind of like the new
Right.
kids on the block, if you will. And Ospreay right now is killing. I mean, he had a match with Kenny Omega at Wrestle Kingdom this year for the IWGP United States title, and I mean, dare I say, match of the year candidate until Forbidden Door, you know what I mean? So again,
if you check out any spot from the Forbidden Door match, watch the spot where Ospreay did a Tiger Driver 91 to Kenny Omega and drilled him straight unprotected on his neck.
yeah,
Fucking insane spot.
Well,
I think we all collectively gasped.
Well, let me ask you this, David. I will say this because AEW has put out a what to do and what not to do. So basically, they put out their ban list, and one of them is a power driver. Have you ever been, or have you ever done a power driver, or ever been power drive?
No, man, because it's banned in Louisiana.
Okay.
We can't do it. Yeah. I remember at a show here in Mamou, we had a guy that they just brought him in. He was from Louisiana, but he did a lot of out-of-state work. And so the Mikes brought him in, and he did one in the ring, and the commission blew up, and the Mikes blew up on him. It's like, dude, you just can't do that. You're going to make us lose our license, right? And that was the only time I seen one in my career here in Louisiana. So the commission outright banned it, which it's a good thing, you know?
Yeah, it's understandable.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It's like the sport's already dangerous. So the more that you can kind of make it safer, I'm all for it. So, yeah. So I never used it. And that was the only time I've seen it done. And actually, I want to say it was done to Scott Phoenix, if I wasn't mistaken. I think Scott took it. Yeah. So.
Now it's not outright banned in AEW. They have to get permission to use it if they want to use a power driver.
Like the Lucha Bros.
It's sort of similar to WWE because WWE wouldn't allow people to do Tombstone power driver other than like Kane and Taker for the longest.
Like you look at the Lucha Bros, for example. Lucha Bros, they do like the package power drivers and your Canadian destroyers, and it's like
fucking sunset flip power bombs and power.
Oh God! Like
the biggest thing that I'm glad to see is they're gonna stop doing with the buckle bomb, the buckle bombs, the apron moves.
Yeah,
like that buckle bombs, like stuff like what happened with Sting.
Yeah, I'm about to say Sting. Sting took it bad. Even Finn Balor, for that matter.
I was there
Finn
that
Balor.
night.
Yeah, I
was there that night when Sting was against Rollins.
Oof.
And that sucked, man.
That was bad. That was bad. And at one point, Sting was done.
Because if
At
y'all
that
thought the
point, Sting
crowd,
was like, "Yeah, I'm done with this."
if y'all thought the crowd was quiet on TV, I was there in attendance.
I
We
can
were
imagine.
all quiet.
I can't believe that Sting was like, oh yeah, I can continue. You know,
That motherfucker doing balcony dives and shit.
Now he's jumping off the freaking 20-foot ladder on a damn table. Yeah, that's my all-time favorite wrestler.
it would have been that table spot would have been fine if they didn't do two next to each other. If that other
Ooh,
table
yeah,
was
'cause that
there,
was sketchy.
he wouldn't have hurt himself as bad.
Well, and two, maybe if the tables weren't so far away,
Yeah, that too.
Darby would have cleared it no problem. But Sting's old ass, well, if he can do it, I can do it better.
Yeah, because he was climbing on. Because Darby's like, "Yeah, I got this." But
Hey, you know
Sting's
what
like,
though? You know what though? I give all the credit to Sting. I am so fucking happy that
Yeah.
he's going out on his own terms.
I don't think anybody is back there pressuring Sting to do any of those
No.
stunts. He's wanting to do it himself.
it's like,
Oh yeah.
they're in Gorilla, and Sting's going up to Tony. He's like, "Hey, Tony, I got the sweet idea." "Oh, Sting, go ahead, do it. What's
Hey.
going on? What you got?" "Well, I want to jump off this. I want to jump off this 20-foot ladder, but I want to do it by the ropes. Is that cool?
Yeah.
You want to do it out of the ring? No, I want to do it on the ring. Okay, hang on. I think that's a great idea, Sting. Bring good ratings. It's awesome." And it's like, here he is. He's climbing the damn ladder. And like Darby, I'm thinking Darby's going to do it because it's like, hey, I expected that out of Darby. Sting's literally climbing on the freaking rung. And he's like, "Hey, I'm 64 years old, living my best life. You get down.
I got this.
You're going to experience this later on. I'm almost dead. I got to experience this while I can." And I mean, he cleared it. He hit, I mean, it looks sketchy, but he got it. And I'm just like, man, I hope he didn't die. Like, just don't die. Don't die. You're 64 years old. Don't do it. And I mean, cleared it. Cleared it.
Yeah.
Yeah, people used to chant, "Please don't die" to Paul London.
Now they're doing it to Sting.
People need to start chanting to Sting that.
Did he like lacerate his bottom lip or something like that? It's like
Something like that, yeah.
Yeah,
He bit his lip.
He was
clipped
bleeding.
his
It's
lip
like,
on the second table.
like God, he clipped that sucker. I was like,
Oh, he clipped it pretty bad.
Ooh, man, I was like, dude,
And then like the year before that, he jumped off the little the tunnel. Like, this is back when they had the tunnels, and it was Forbidden Door. As a matter of fact, it was him, Darby, and Shingo
Takagi versus
Takagi.
Young
Shingo
Bucks
Takagi.
and El Phantasmo.
And like they all come out, the Young Bucks and El Phantasmo comes out, and there's like a black shadow or like a white whatever. It was a shadow, and it's Sting, and he's jumping off the freaking stage. Not to mention jumping off the balcony, and it's just like, you know what? And I remember telling my girlfriend this. I'm like, you know what? When I'm 63 years old, that's what I want to do. That's exactly what I want to do. Jumping off of balconies, jumping off of ladders, all that kind of crazy shit. I mean, back in the day, I used to jump off this house. And this is a 15-foot house. The roof is like pretty huge, so it's damn near almost a 10 to 15-foot drop.
Well, why are you saying that? But I know we're about to go for close. Did you get to go to? I heard you were at the seminar at APW.
Okay, so funny thing that you brought that up. I was gonna do the seminar. I was gonna do it, but I kind of bullshitted out a little bit. Plus, I didn't want to pay the $30. I mean, I had the VIP experience, so Eddie would have been like, "Yeah, just do $20, you'll be fine." And it's like, you know what? Next time, because I'm just here to have a good time. Now, mind you, I'm a little bit buzzed, right? So me and Metzger, we on our way to the show. We on our way over there, and I'm drinking like PBR stuff. Like, I'm drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon, and I mean, I just had Burger King, so I'm drinking Pabst Blue Ribbon and all that stuff. I'm already not buzzed, but like I'm lit, right? And so we had talked to Eddie, and it's like, "Hey, bro, would it be cool if you check out the seminar, like see what's going on?" And I mean, it's really cool to see like an actual seminar, because I've never been a part of that before. The very first time checking it out, and kind of give me an idea of, hey, if I actually want to do this, if I'm serious about it, this is your opportunity to check it out, see what they got to go through. And I mean, some of the people, they hit that mat like bam! Like they took that bump, and I mean, slapped the mat, and I mean they went like this because obviously whenever you bump, you want to make sure your neck's like this, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
your neck
Yeah. Take
down
chin. Yeah.
or chin
And
down. I
breathe
mean,
out. And don't hold your breath.
yeah, don't do that. Please.
Yeah. Don't hold your breath either. Yeah. You got to
It's like,
breathe out when you bump. Yeah.
woo!
Like, bam. So, yeah, man. I've been to a couple of them. Chavo
It's
Classic.
wild. I tell you
Yeah.
that.
Chavo Classic.
Did.
I went to his, and I went to TNA.
Oh,
TNA had a seminar.
nice.
Yeah, back in the River Center. Me and Justin went, and it was held by uh, Jeff Jarrett was there. D'Lo Brown. D'Lo Brown was a really guy. So we had to cut promos. It was more like a tryout, right? They were having a show that night, so we cut promos, and we had a tryout match there. It was me against Justin, and I also did some refereeing stuff too for him. That night they wanted us to come that night to come to stay and do security, but we had a show that night, so we had to leave. So we had to tell Jeff, so like, "Hey man, Jeff, I got a show. Yeah, man, go make money."
Look, look
So
here, slap nuts. We gotta do a damn show. All right.
one great advice that he did give to a lot of the students there is, like, you guys putting into this business. Yes, you're going to drive 500 miles, and you'll get paid a hot dog and handshake, but the money that you're putting into it is kind of like, he made a great reference for the younger guys. Like, when people go to be a doctor, they're going to spend $200,000 on school, right? And then you're making money later down the road. He said, so don't be afraid to spend money on this business, because that's how you're eventually going to make money.
Right.
So that was some pretty good advice from Jeff. But yeah, that was my two ones that I went to. I remember, and Robert Gibson's as well. So yeah, that was the ones I went to. So pretty cool.
So before we wrap this up, this is the question I like to give to all my guests who have been on the show. We've been running this for a year and a half. So I have a good question, and it is: do you have a dream opponent? It could be alive, it could be dead, it could be current, it could be past. Dream match, dream opponent. Who you got?
Ric Flair.
Ooh.
Ric Flair.
Ooh. Wait,
All day.
which version of Ric Flair then? Are we talking about NWA
Oh, man.
Ric Flair?
That man's talking NWA Flair.
I'm talking about NWA Rick.
Of course. Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
Just step NWA Rick.
Let's see.
Man, he's just classic,
If
right?
you-
Yeah.
If you would have
Yeah.
said last match, Rick.
No,
Yeah,
he's not going. He's not going. I want to.
you're done.
That's not a good version of Rick. Like, Rick die? Like, Rick's gonna die in the ring. Like, it was like, come on,
Oh,
Rick.
God. And Big Bass word slap nuts was there. I mean, it made sense. Ric Flair versus Jeff Jarrett. Yeah. Kind of like WCW throwback. And then you had Andrade and Jay Lethal. And Jay Lethal was in Jeff Jarrett's corner. And then Andrade was in Ric Flair's. Like, it was a tag match.
Yeah.
Which made a lot of sense. And then poor Flair passed out. But yeah,
Yeah,
that was a
rough
great
to
choice.
watch.
That's
Yeah.
a damn good choice.
Yeah, that's my all-time guy right away, man.
Of course.
Yeah,
Of course.
absolutely.
All right. So this is where we wrap this up. Again, I want to thank the one, the only Captain David Silver, as I like to call him. David, for those again, if you have any social media links, if you want to share it, plug your stuff, this is the time to do it. So go ahead, take it away.
Our Cali Heat page, man, and my David Silver Facebook. Both on Facebook. I'm not on Instagram or any other social media outlets, but catch us on both of those too. Got a couple of shows coming up. And GCW August 12th in New Iberia, and we're back in Morgan City in November, and in September we'll be at Fort Berry High School. So come check us out, man. GSW, also part of APW as well. Love working. Glad to be back. Not sure how long I have left in this business. So while I have it, we're going to make the best of it. And again, brother, thank you guys for calling me on. I know I had to beg several times to be on, but I knew I was a nuisance. No, man, but appreciate it, bro. Thank you guys for having me. Love you and coming in, supporting us, Indy wrestling, brother. It's always good to see you in the crowd. Yeah, and
I
supporting
gotta
Indy
do
wrestling,
it.
brother.
Not
Yeah,
only
man,
that,
it's not
not
the same when you're not in the crowd, dude. You like really is truly you're not. It's
oh
not
my
the same
God,
thing.
stop it.
No,
Yeah,
I you
don't
could
feed the
ask
snoods and you
ask the
go.
guys like right. Yeah, no, ask the guys like, man, Nick's here. No, man, Nick's not here. So, oh crap, man. Like, what we gonna do? Who we gonna look forward to this? Who's in the crowd that we that's gonna get it up, right? Like,
See, that's
who's in the
right.
crowd,
Because I'm the one that brings all the views. I'm the one that brings the rating. Right it. No, I'm joking, but
If Nick's not there, we're looking for the pretty blonde in the first. It's like, where's
there
that pretty
you
blonde in
go.
the first?
Because I have priorities and all that shit.
Gotta probably.
Hey,
Nah, we can-
maybe in the next couple months I might be in that crowd with Nick because I'm thinking about coming
Yeah,
out
brother.
there.
You need to.
Yeah,
You
man,
need to
come
stop
down
being
there.
a
We'll-
hoe and come down.
I'll bring my belts out there with you, brother.
We'll definitely have a IWGP takeover, a New Japan takeover, if you will.
Goddamn right.
But
Yeah,
again, I
come
want
on
to
down,
thank.
man. We'll go get a drink or something after. Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Brother. Gotta get a couple drinks. Get a couple broskies. What? I said a couple broskies.
What?
Oh, the other bullshit. What? Anyway. With that being said, I want to thank the one, the only David Silver to be a part of this show. Again, love you so much. You're one of my favorite people in this damn world. And of course, you had to beg old Nick Venom to come on the show. And
It's like, dang, man. It's like,
hey, look, whenever you got a lot of guests on the show, I mean, you gotta get the people what they want.
you gotta get the people they want, man.
But this is an episode that was a long time coming.
Appreciate it, brother.
So, in my honest opinion, thank you so much for being a part of it. And with that reached our end of our podcast. If you like this podcast, if you like what you see, if you like seeing this beautiful belt along with the US belt that Dan the Mother Effing Man has right there, then head on over to youtube.com/What a Kayfabe Podcast and subscribe to us. Also, make sure you smash the notification bell that way you don't miss any of our product, any of our content whenever we upload a video. Again, thank you, David Silver, for being a part of this. If you like this video, go ahead, like it, share it, follow us on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We're all over the place. And if you prefer to hear our voices, because why would you want to hear our voice? But hey, if you do, I digress. We got Spotify, we got Apple, iTunes, Google Play, Pandora, iHeartRadio, anywhere, anyhow, anyway. We're all over the place. And with that, this is the Venomous One, Nick Venom, along with my two good friends, the Professor Staggerly Crocker, and Dan, the Mother Effing Man, and David Mother Effing Silver. Crocker, hit the damn track. We're out of here.
And the mind, make me happy. Oh, baby, be mine.
Can I tell you something as a friend? No, can I tell you something as a friend?
Yeah.
Come on in if you would, please. You're the shits. You really are. You're the worst I heard.
That's all.
Oh, me gusta.